Hello and Assalamualaikum. First and foremost, I would like to give a million thanks to my beloved lecturer, Prof. Madya Dr. Azra binti Abdul Aziz, for the guidance throughout this semester. My name is Nurul Izzah binti Muhammad Sharifuddin, matrix number 264136. I would like to present about the ratio analysis of G3 Global Berhad. Ratio analysis refers back to the evaluation of various pieces of financial information within the financial statement of a business. They are specifically used by external analysts to decide numerous aspects of a business. With the adoption of the financial ratios, we will have a better understanding of the G3 Global Berhad ratio analysis in terms of liquidity, performance, gearing, interest coverage, and efficiency ratio. For the first one is liquidity ratio, which we need to find the current ratio. The current ratio is a liquidity ratio that measures a company's ability to repay short-term debt due within a year. To find the current ratio, current assets must be divided by current liabilities. Based on the graph and table, we can see that the G3 Global Berhad is in a good performance in terms of liquidity. It is because the current ratio indicates a continuous increase from 2016 until 2020. This means that the company can meet its short-term debt obligation and is apparently in a better position to pay off its liabilities. Next is performance ratio. Performance ratio is the ratio of measured production to predicted output for a specific reporting period based on the system nameplate rating. For the performance ratio, we need to find the sales growth, return on asset, and return on equity. To find the sales growth, the current period sales minus prior period sales must be divided by prior period sales. While for return on asset, the net income must be divided by total asset. And lastly, to find the return on equity, the net income must be divided by shareholders' equity. Based on the graph and table shown that sales growth is in the unstable condition where it changes to positive and negative percentage year by year. However, the return on asset and return on equity recorded the same pattern from 2016 until 2020, where the percentage decreased in 2017 but began to increase in 2018 until 2020. Next is gearing ratio. A gearing ratio refers to a financial ratio that compares some kind of own equity or capital to fund borrowed by the firm. To find the gearing ratio, total liability must be divided by shareholders' fund. Based on the graph and table shown that G3 Global Berhad has a good performance gearing ratio. It is because the gearing ratio is kept decreasing in 2016 to 2020. A low gearing ratio means that the company has a small proportion of debt versus equity. Next is the interest coverage ratio. The interest coverage ratio is a debt to profitability ratio that determines how simply a corporation can pay interest on its debt. To find the interest coverage ratio, earning before interest and tax must be divided by interest expenses. Based on graph and table shown that the ratio decreased in 2016 to 2017 but drastically increased in 2018. Even though in 2019 the ratio decreased, but it increased in the following year, which can be considered as a good performance of interest coverage ratio. In general, a higher coverage ratio is preferable, whereas a lower coverage ratio indicates that the corporation is more burdened by debt expenses and has less capital available. Last but not least is the efficiency ratio. The efficiency ratio is commonly used to assess how well a corporation manages its assets and liabilities. For the efficiency ratio, we need to find the average payment period and asset turnover ratio. To find the average payment period, the account payable must be divided by the division of total credit purchases and day in period. While to find the asset turnover ratio, revenue must be divided by asset. Based on the graph and table of the average payment period shows that a decreasing period in 2016 to 2017. In 2018, the average payment period increased until 2019 but decreased in 2020. However, if the average payment period appears to be rather long, the company may be losing out on important saving by delaying payments. On the asset turnover ratio side, the pattern is the same from 2016 until 2020, where it decreased and increased and keep repeating the same pattern by the following year. A company's ability to generate income from its asset is measured by its asset turnover ratio. The greater the value, the more efficient it is. A low asset turnover ratio revenue. On the other hand, suggests that a corporation is not effectively leveraging its asset to produce revenue. I think that's all for my part. Thank you.